Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video on some F1 2020 Driver Career Mode. Today we're doing episode number 38 for the Canadian Grand Prix of Season 2, round number 6. Sorry, Season 3, excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself, not Season 2. But yes, I just want to say a huge thank you to everybody for subscribing. We finally hit 250 subscribers yesterday, and it's a dry race as well. There will be a special video coming next week to show off that as well, so stay tuned for that. And also, if you are new, then we'll keep going. Keep subscribing, please. It massively helps me out. It's the big red button under the video. But yes, huge thank you. I really appreciate it. But in the R&D terms anyway, you can see that Mercedes have moved back in front of Red Bull. As I say, I don't have any control over the Red Bull. You can see they brought a minor upgrade by the looks of it to Baku, but still, I don't have control of that. AlphaTauri now ahead of Ferrari as well, and McLaren, who are pretty much separated by a nanopixel. So Ferrari slipping down the order. It's definitely going to be Red Bull versus Mercedes this year. As we move to qualifying then, Canada's one of my favourite circuits. I know a lot of esports drivers don't like it on this year's game, but personally for me it's one of my favourite tracks to run. I know it's also one of Ara's favourite tracks as well. It's just got a nice flow to it, and down this back straight you just have this you know when Mario says in Mario Kart, he says, "I'm coming to get you." It's a bit like that. But yes, our banker lap, which was always do banker lap at the first part of the session. We don't always do 2 laps if we've got enough fuel. We've done a 108.7. That's only enough for 10th place. However, at the end of the session, I wasn't paying attention to how much left was on the timer. I was too busy letting Gasly go in the AlphaTauri up ahead of us and the Renault lock-on. And subsequently, we've had an I am stupid moment. Couldn't complete our lap, and it's P12. Which is a shame, because I think we definitely had time there. There was definitely that time. We probably, I'm not saying that we'd been close to Albon, but still. 12th on the grid, we can't do much about it. It's time for the race.
Obviously I expected a better session, but these things happen from time to time. Try to make up for it in the race.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. With top speeds of around 210 miles per hour heading into the overtaking opportunity of turn 13, the 2.7 miles of the circuit Gilles Villeneuve are some of the quickest on the Formula One calendar. There are 14 corners in total, with 60% of the lap taken at full throttle, and average lap speeds clock in at about 130 miles per hour. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Alexander Albon lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Perez, Lance Stroll and Ricciardo, Magnussen, Leclerc, Sainz and Esteban Ocon. Hamilton, they've taken a grid penalty, and a Red Bull, Lando Norris and Giovinazzi, Latifi, Vettel, George Russell and Daniel Kvyat. De Vries and Max Verstappen completes the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Jeff is just worse. He's got worse on this year's game, I'm going to say. It's official now. We're on episode 38. By the way, if episode 38 makes this joint longest running career mode on this channel, so next week we will officially make it. But he said the same words the entirety of this career mode. It's just dull. But anyway, enough about Jeff. It's 5 red lights and away we go. A little bit of a hold there. It's a better start than Hamilton, who's obviously got a grid penalty. See how he can get on in there later. We're going to dive it down the inside, trying to get down the inside of Daniel Ricciardo. Ricciardo, of course, not really aware of us too much now. He tries and squeezes us to the left-hand side there. He's still on our outside though, and we're going to have to defend. We try and squeeze him to the wall, and we do so, and Ricciardo has to give way, and we're up into P7. A very good start, up from P12 on the grid. Hamilton looks like he's buried behind Ocon as well, as we breeze past Magnussen. I know we've got we're using our second engine already, but still, but the wear for the AI should not be that bad. And we're now all over the back of Lance Stroll. However, we're getting so close. We're lucky not to break a bit of our front wing off there, and we have to stay behind for P6 and have a go on another lap. DRS is labelled this lap, although we are, I suspect, in the DRS train behind our teammate actually, who's up in P2. We're now going purple in the last sector as well. Getting all over the back of a Stroll. Magnussen's hanging on, to be fair, but eventually we do make it the end of lap 4, down the inside into the hairpin. I think that's where we're going to have to make everything done. Stroll actually gets a bit wayward, and that's going to allow Ricciardo and Magnussen, they're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. This could get messy. Oh, a little bit of a lock up from Ricciardo there, but fortunately Stroll, there's no contact with Stroll, and as Stroll comes out and he pushes Ricciardo out, and he's lost out of position now to Magnussen, and is down to P7, as they'll all be behind the Alpha Tower driver, as DRS is now failed. This weekend, the luck we've had in this weekend, yes, it's a dry race, but we should be up there fighting for victory. Bottas is not controlling this race. He's not 15, 25, 30 seconds ahead of Albon, is he? As we're now all over the back of Sergio Perez, still without DRS, which is hindering us, even though we're getting a better exit out of the hairpin towards down it. We're still struggling for pace, but eventually we do come in. Bottas is only 4 seconds out, but he's coming in as well. I doubt we're going to be able to catch Bottas in this race, purely because I think we're going to get stuck behind Perez again. I don't think we've done enough. They only came in on lap 7. As the softs come on off, the medium come on. A little bit of an hints of an unsafe release there with Esteban Ocon. So he's coming in and I'm coming out. Does he ghost again? Because obviously people just ghost. There's no unsafe release. Yes. If that was in real life, obviously, then Ocon would be all over the pits radio, having to slam his brakes on as we come out into turn 2. We've closed the gap up to Perez, though. It wasn't 4 tenths, because after that little moment on lap 6, Perez sort of marched away, and we're down the outside of Perez. We're going to try and get the better line of Perez. We move to the inside, and I'm just having flashbacks of Button and Hamilton in 2011, but fortunately it's not raining, so Perez can see us. He gives us the space on the inside, and we're up into P5. As we look up ahead, we've got obviously one person, of course, has yet to stop in form Max Verstappen. Not seen too much of the Haas recently, of course, because of course Ferrari's engine failure, as Lewis Hamilton is out, and he's had a new engine component as well. He's out of the race with an engine failure, and that's going to bring out the safety car, which is going to help us extraordinarily much, because we're all going to be, Gasly is the next car up, and then we've got the chart. I don't say we can win this race. I think Bottas might have a little bit too much compared to the Red Bull, but we certainly should be able to get Gasly. But it's been a poor restart. That ends our sort of consecutive runs of having good safety car restarts. We catch up to Gasly into turn 1, but really not doing that. We've only got 3 laps left as well. And moving to lap 17, it starts to get a bit desperate. We finally get a good run out of the hairpin. So we're going to have DRS is now back in operation as well, which is helping us out. Obviously, same engine in the back of our cars, the back of AlphaTauri, although the last time when I was out on R&D, we're going to dive down the inside and make the move done. That's the same we did on Stroll. That's going to allow Perez to have a look at him. But here's a replay. Very nice move. Gasly locks up, which is wild. That was the wheel banging. He had to make the corner, and Gasly's going to lose a position here to Perez. Could lose a Ricciardo. Ricciardo's jumped Magnussen in the pit stops as well, so bad bit of business there for AlphaTauri. But we couldn't catch, well, ignore that out the final corner. I mean, we just understeered why. I couldn't catch Albon in the end. But it is a podium from outside the top 10.
Brilliant job, mate. That's a fantastic podium. Super driving, really strong pace. Very, very happy.
Just wish Jeff could be happy that all the time. I mean, remember what it had none of that reaction last time in Azerbaijan when we got second. Still without a win in this season. So although we will be banking on Austria, we've got France next up though. Before then, so we'll be looking to. We did well at France, unsurprisingly well. But Bottas, I don't know. Is this the start of the end for Red Bull if we don't have any upgrades or limited upgrades? I don't know. But in terms of the Drivers' Championship, we remain P4 despite a big pool of points. We're sort of building a gap ahead of Ricciardo, and we catch up to Hamilton, who had that consistency that gave him ahead of Bottas and Albon, who had both retired one race up to now. But that two allows those two to jump ahead of the people of the team, and Racing Point are now comfortably into P7. The top though is very close, and then there's a big battle for third place between Renault, AlphaTauri, Ferrari, and will probably become McLaren and Racing Point if they get their act together.
That was an exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. Do you have any comments about this team?
No, they're second last.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you
We just
struggling for grip,
understeered
or
into
did you
the
just
final corner. I
misjudge
mean,
some corners?
No comment there. Simple as that.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and thanks for wasting mine as usual, Claire. I mean, the sooner you get reprogrammed or removed from the F1 game, the better. We're still, though, unable to get our driver or claim level 12, which is annoying because we've been all there pretty much all season since we renegotiated our final contract with Red Bull. We've got a little bit of gap now between ourselves and the French Grand Prix, although not lots going to happen there really. We'll just really fast forward that. But the momentum is going. We've got 2 podiums in the last 2 races, so if we have a good qualifying at France, then I don't see why we can't have a good result there. We did so last year, albeit Albon was slowing everybody up at the French Grand Prix in Season 2. So can we do it again at the Circuit Paul Ricard and have a good race? This time though we won't be taking. We went from last to second that time. This time we won't be taking in extra units, so we'll have a better qualifying position as well. So yes, and obviously for the likes of Vettel and Leclerc, they've had 1 point in the 2 races since that engine settlement that we had in the previous race, Azerbaijan. Obviously Leclerc got 10th. That was in this race. So that's where Ferrari are. That's where their car is. They are languishing around the bottom end of the top, just outside the top 10, nipping in obviously if the likes of Hamilton, well, if anybody else has a bad day at the office, then obviously they need that consistency. Up to that point, obviously Vettel had 2 DNFs with the old engine. obviously adding to the rumour that he'll be departing from that team, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And at the moment, since the new engine, he hasn't had a great qualifying, and he's qualifying way outside the top 10, and compared to the likes of Sergio Perez, who's had a 5th and a 4th place since then. So, but yes, if you have enjoyed this video of the driver career mode, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you see more episodes from F1 2020 as when they come out every week. Until the next video, time, take care, thank you so much for watching, enjoy your day, and goodbye.